Hello guys, Rob here, Raising Reef. We're going to start aquascaping this tank today. My RO unit is still pumping water into the water butt, and as closer we get to filling this tank, the more excited I'm getting. So I've got a box over here. We're going to have a little look and lift the aquascape out, see if it fits back in the tank as I remember it, and see if any bits have fallen off. So, well, bear with me, I will get the box. Already I can see that when I pack this away, come here, when I pack this away, I must have taken a piece off, whether that was to fit it into the box or whether it came off while I was fitting it. I believe that that might fit up here. Let me get it out of the box, put it into the tank, and then we'll work out where this bit goes. So, I always get a little bit apprehensive when I'm lifting a glued together rockwork up off the ground, be it in the tank or outside, and then lifting it over the glass tank to put it down. The fear is that something comes apart, one of the glued pieces breaks apart or the rock itself crumbles, and you drop it all into the tank. This could result in cracking the glass and ruining the tank. So yeah, it's a scary moment. Okay, I can feel movement, something moved. Oh dear, 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 dear. This bit feels like it's not stuck. Oh dear, dear, dear. As I lifted it out of the box, this piece on the front started to move, and that really scared the crap out of me, because at any point it could have broken into lumps and fell into the glass. But it's in, no cracked tank yet, so we will find out where this bit goes. Now, if I remember correctly, I think this went on here. Did it go that way? Or was it this way? Aha! I think this bit goes under here. Like that. Aha! Yes. Yeah, that makes sense. I thought it was a bit small. That's right. It goes in there. So once I've worked out where exactly it goes, I can squirt a bit of glue or put a bit of putty in there and help to secure it all. But to be fair, it shouldn't really move. It's sitting directly on the glass, which means that if I add any livestock to the tank that burrows into the sand, it's not going to mine the sand away from and make the rocks unstable. They're already stable on the glass, and then I will just spread the sand around it. So what I'm doing now is I'm trying to just adjust the aquascape into an area that allows me enough space either side. So I'm not going to have any difficulty cleaning the glass sides of the tank, because it's nothing worse than trying to clean the tank and using your magnetic cleaner and not being able to pass freely across. It just makes it more difficult, and little dirty patches on the glass just don't look very good. Come and have a look. Right, so this is what it looks like from the front. This is from the side. So we've got some cave work going on inside here. Fish are going to be able to hide in amongst there, and they can also get around the back here. Nice little hidey holes for the fish to hang out and feel safe. There's also another little pass through under there. I think it's important to have little hidey holes for fish in case they feel stressed. Take a look down from the top. So that's what it looks like. Lots of areas to place coral and lots of space for them to grow up into the water column. I have in the past fallen into the trap, we'll say, of adding too much rock to the tank to try and create an aquascape that looks impressive from day one, and ultimately having to remove a lot of that rock and rescape it when the corals start to grow, because I've neglected to leave enough space above the rockwork for the corals to actually grow. Because at the end of the day, we want to see the corals, not the rock. The rock is purely a foundation for the corals to grow off of, and yeah, I think that will do the job nicely. So I've got some sand. I don't remember how much sand I've got, but it's certainly enough. My plan, I thought the best way to add this sand to this tank would be to just poke a hole in the bag with my knife and let it drain out. We'll see how that goes. Well, that worked out all right, apart from the fact that I filled my knife with sand. It still shuts, that's fine. Okay. So now all I've got to do is just sort of move the sand around so I've got a nice even layer on the bottom of the tank. Now this is the part where everything seems to feel a bit more real, like I get a bit more excited at this point because I can see the aquascape, the sands in the tank. I mean, I can almost imagine all of the wonderful corals, where they're going to be put, them swaying about and moving in the water. Yeah, I think it's going to look good. So that's pretty much it really. That's as far as we can go until we've got enough water to fill it up. Like you see, everything's dry, it's inert. This is real reef rock. It's supposed to be seeded with a bacteria that kickstarts the cycle in the tank. I don't expect anything from this rock. It's a man-made rock. I don't think it's a substitute for live rock, but it's become increasingly more difficult to get live rock, and people are moving away from it because questions about its sustainability. You don't really want them digging up reefs out in the ocean to supply you with your hobby rock, and there are lots of other alternatives available. I have been reef keeping for over 12 years, and the original rock that I bought to start my first system is still in my current tank that my friend's got, and I will be moving that over into, let me show you something, into this tank here. This little thing, let me just show you without dropping the camera. Here we go, look. This is a frag tank that I picked up from a friend on the reef site. Must be 2 years ago now, with the intention of connecting it to this system. There was a time when I had a big 6-foot fish tank, and I had a separate frag tank, completely independent system in another part of the house, and I used to grow coral, and I used to sell it and supply fish shops and whatnot, and trade it and do whatever. It was all part of the hobby for me. I shut that down and I sold it on, and I got my big tank, and I used to just take corals from there. I used to work in a fish shop, and I could just take coral clippings, set them out on a frag rack, and then move them over to the shop. But I've picked this up thinking it would look extra special next to my reef tank all set up, and we will have that initially with all of the live rock from my old system. So this will be plumbed into the main tank, and water will drain through this, and all of that lovely bacteria and that biodiversity that is helping to not only complete the nitrogen cycle but balance the whole tank and keep it stable, that rock will be within the system. That will allow all of this new rock, this inert, dead, man-made rock, to be seeded by all of this live rock. And there is the potential, I've got a few say, pests on my live rock that may make it into the main display. I'm going to do my best to try and avoid that. Things like purple clove polyps, which although in themselves aren't necessarily too much of a problem, they can be irritating. They grow quickly, they cover all the live rock, and one good thing about live rock for me is that it covers in a coralline algae, which is a purple and pink colour, and I think it looks quite attractive. This purple clove polyp will grow over the top of that, shade it out, you won't get to see it, all you'll see is the clove polyps. Some people don't mind it and they like that. I'm not so much of a fan, and if I can avoid it, I will. Other than that, I think there's a few Aiptasia in my tank. They don't cause me as much problem as maybe some other reefers. Yeah, as long as they don't get out of control. But I have, actually right here, I have something to take care of that in the event that it does. No, that's not what I thought it was. It's not what I thought it was at all. That's not what I thought it was. I thought it was a Majano wand. It's not. It's in a case just like this, but it's not that one. I'll dig it out at some point. But I have a Majano wand for treating them. You can put kelp paste on them and whatnot. There are certain fish and whatnot you can get to, and nudibranches and whatnot that'll eat it. But to be honest, they've never caused me that much of a problem. If you can outcompete them with other things, if there ain't a lot of space for them to grow, corals will keep them in check. They won't grow over the top of corals. So yeah, fill your tank with corals and you won't have an Aiptasia problem. So this tank, I've given it a rub. You can't see. Come down here. Come on. There we go. Alright, you can see a bit. This was black and rusty when I got it, and it's been sitting in my garage for a year and then in a storage container for another year. I've given it a good rub down and taken off most of the rust and taken off any flaky paint. I will be giving that a nice spray with some black paint that I picked up, and that make it nice and fresh. But the plan ultimately is the same with this tank, is that on my old tank that my friend's looking after, there are wooden claddings on 3 sides, the front and the 2 sides, that encase the tank and make it look like a nice piece of furniture. I plan to move those over. The theme for this room, as you can see, I've done dark green on the walls. I've got a dark wooden floor. I am going to have dark wooden shelves. The natural oak of this tank may need to be stained dark brown to go with the theme of the room, but I will make the decision as and when it comes to it. The sides are just clip-on, so I can just pull them off, and they're easily replaceable. They are just made from MDF. It's oak veneered MDF. I think it's 18mm, maybe 22mm or 20mm thick boards. They look really lovely. You just put an iron on a natural oak edge on them and give them a sand and they look pucker. And I've oiled them, so I may need to stain them slightly darker to match the theme of this room. Because this room is going to be my art studio. This was originally a garage. The previous owner, this wall behind me was the garage door. It's out to the front of the property, and there was a door on the back. He's knocked through from the house into it and blocked up the exits outside. It does mean it's a bit cold in here. It's, I believe, a block built wall, and I don't think he's insulated the coverings for the garage door and the back door. I think he's just boarded over them. So it is a little bit cold in here. I have had a radiator run out here to keep it warm, to keep the chill off, but we don't use the heating within the house that much. So there's going to be times in here when it's a bit chilly. I have got a gas-fired heater in here just to take the chill off the air while I'm in here, to help me keep from freezing to death, because it really does get cold in here. So I'm looking forward to getting all of this set up and sorted out, but that's going to have to wait for another video. If you don't want to miss out on seeing all of this come together, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any future episodes, and you can follow along. If you have any questions about what I'm doing here, or you want to know something, just drop me a comment on this video and I will reply to it. So thanks for watching, take it easy guys, take care of each other, stay safe, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.